This might just be Switzerland's nicest camping spot, but first, quick story time.
Almost a year ago, I started converting this old trades van into my dream adventure camper. And while I've absolutely loved the DIY process, I'll be honest, it's been super exhausting at times, especially documenting every single step. So with summer around the corner, I threw a mattress in the back, packed my camera gear and drove across half of Switzerland to camp on a farm for the night and take you along. Now, the van is still far from finished, but I didn't buy it to sit in the driveway. I bought the van to go on so many adventures. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back and let me welcome you to episode 16 of Luke's Van Build Diary.
Let's set up the van before I give you a tour around the farm because it's super cool. I gotta put some sunscreen on, and then I've already spotted so many farm animals, so that's gonna be an interesting tour. I just remembered that I'm quite allergic to pollen, so my nose is tickling like crazy. I didn't bring medication, and obviously up here there's quite a lot of stuff flying around in the air. Anyways, let's do the tour. Also, I'm gonna try doing it in one take, so bear with me. Alrighty, so I am about 130 meters above the town of Weggis, which I think is in the canton of Lucerne. At least it's next to Lake Lucerne. And just look at that view. Now, I found this parking spot on an app called Nomady, and it's kind of an Airbnb for camping spots, and most of the spots are actually owned by farmers. So we are on a fully operational farm, and there's lots of animals, and it's just super cool. Just look at those calves over here, really cute. The cool thing is, well, it wasn't the cheapest spot, it was 25 bucks, but it's fairly reasonable for Switzerland. But there's actually running water, hot and cold, so I might have a shower today, which, as I've heard, isn't that common in van life, but oh well. So I'm on spot 1, and there's actually a second one. Some tractors, if you fancy those. There's a pretty neat looking one in this barn over here. I think those are actually made in Switzerland. They are super rugged while having a really low center of gravity, so they can ride up the hills, which is necessary because it's super hilly. Over here, there's some chickens, and then if we walk up here, which really is quite steep, and I'm already out of breath, we should find camping spot number 2. And yeah, just look at the road. It's incredibly steep. I almost stalled my car a few times, but I made it. There's this really fancy looking spaceshipy bed. I don't know, didn't know you could book that, but I bet it's super hot in there right now. So here's the second spot, and it's just incredible up here. So I think that's kind of it. Now, there's supposed to be a little shop that they stock up with fresh eggs, milk, yogurt. I desperately need the eggs because that's kind of my entire goal for tomorrow. Make an English breakfast, not a full one, but I'm trying to please my quite large group of English viewers. I think I hear the rooster. Let's go down there. So I spent the last 2 hours reading in my book. I don't know if I would recommend it. I just bought it because it was pretty and it looked like Luke's toolbox yellow. But yeah, it's called The Bee Sting. Hopefully it's not foreshadowing for what's gonna happen. And it was also the biggest book in the bookstore. I'm just not an avid reader. I think I managed to read 5 pages and I could not tell you a single thing that happened. What I do enjoy though is this incredible view. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't think I've ever been to a place this nice. So many things I like. Green spring grass, the blue lake and the snow-covered mountains. It's just incredible. And it for sure made me want to jump in the lake. But I think that has to wait a bit. But first, let me show you the camping setup. Now, if you're thinking, what setup? It's not even a finished camper. Then let me prove you wrong. Because I think I've got a 6-room camper mansion here. Alright, so here's the bedroom. I've got the photo studio. Kitchen over here, I mean the indoor kitchen, and a snack bag for my parents. I'm gonna unbox it later. Funnily enough, I packed one and they gave me one, so I have so much food. Then I've got my wardrobe, my bathroom, and the living room over here, and the outdoor kitchen. Since it's Mother's Day, we went out for a huge brunch and I tried to fill my stomach as much as possible so I didn't have to cook lunch, and it worked. But now it's around 5 p.m. and I'm getting hungry. I gotta find some firewood and then let's start a fire, prep dinner, and I'm really hoping on one of the most beautiful sunsets, but we'll see how that goes. I've never seen firewood looking this perfect. It's as if a cabinet maker was tasked to make firewood. Also, Poland still kill me and I already went through almost all my tissues. Alright, let's see what's for dinner. I've got some rösti, which is kind of like hash browns but better. A zucchini, or as some of you would say, courgette. And a halloumi that's far too warm by now. Let's get this prepped. And then I'm gonna cook it on the fire using my dad's military-issued cookware. Now this chair is pretty cool. But what isn't too cool is that the frying pan is so small. Also, I promise after dinner and perhaps a shower, I'm gonna unbox the snack thing because they said there's tons of dessert in there and I could use some chocolate if it hasn't melted by now. Let's throw on the first load of food. And I also just saw that this is from the year 1984, which is crazy. Wait a minute, the chickens are on the loose. I guess today's dinner motto is quantity over quality, because it looks pretty bad. I mean, there is some browning on the rösti, but it's all stuck in the pan. Oh well, I promise this is not going to be the cooking standard once the vent's built out. I think sunset showers are my new favorite thing. That was so nice. Let's enjoy the rest of the evening and then let's check out what kind of snacks we've got in the goodie bag. I think I'm gonna call it a night pretty early because I want to get up for sunrise. Well, we'll see. I'm tired, but that sunset was so beautiful. I gotta say, even though this van is not finished at all, it's so cozy in here. But now, as promised, time for some dessert. Even though I gotta say I'm not hungry anymore. I was way too much dinner. Got some fancy chips, some wiener waffles. That's yeah. Maybe I should not have pronounced that in English. Chocolate milk, chocolate crackers, orange juice. I have way too much food. I think I have 3 apples, coffee, chocolate banana bar, and last thing, you gotta see that? My parents wrote me a little card wishing me good luck with the van on the many adventures. Except for the guitar, that's pretty much the setup we were rocking today. Alrighty, I'm gonna snack on some stuff, watch some YouTube, and then call it a day. See you tomorrow. Good morning. I slept pretty well. It's almost 8 o'clock, but it's super cold outside. And just after midnight, I was woken up by quite a hefty storm and had to get everything inside. And it also rained a little bit. Now the plan is to start a fire so I can get some hot water for coffee and make myself my mini version of an English breakfast. I mean, I've only got beans, toast, and eggs. I'm not even sure if eggs are part of it. Apologies if not. Well, yeah. Then I'm still thinking about jumping in the lake real quick. Now look what's here. Probably the freshest eggs. I don't know if that's the name of the chicken. That would be cool though. Well, looks like there's a new pope. Welcome to Luke's Half English Breakfast. Now for all my English viewers, please leave a like if I made you feel proud, and if not, then maybe still leave a like if you enjoyed coming camping with me. Of course, that also counts for the other ones because that really helps me out. I don't think I've ever spent this much time making a breakfast, so let's enjoy that. And then there's some rainy weather coming in. I was planning on taking you on a little hike, but that has to wait for another time. And now I'd say there's just one more thing to do.